What is going on, guys? DBG, and today we are with Jazz reacting to more MyTEAM hot takes. So, honestly, a lot of things have happened today in MyTEAM. Well, It was 200k for a Paul George, and Jazz did spend 200k VC and doesn't have a Paul George.
Yeah, I'm probably the only person that spent 200k and didn't spend it on Paul George. But I did get KD and Penny, so Jazz is up. Got 40 half badges. Now some decisions to make.
I mean, Penny's better than Paul George. I'm not gonna lie. I love Paul George. I love the fact that you don't need to gamble to get him. I'll always say this, that I will be the most passionately negative about things I hate and the most passionately positive about things I like. I will be so passionately. I will defend 2K's decision to make him purchasable to the ends of the earth. You
started out with your own hot take. I agree with it. Yeah, it's good.
It's not a hot take. It's not a hot take.
RIP to the MT sites, by the way.
Sorry.
RIP to the MT sites. They're gonna.
They're not gonna die. They're not gonna die because again, the cards are still gonna be slightly cheaper that way. But I think it's a start. I think it's a lot.
Coming for them.
I genuinely think that spending $50 on something in the game through 2K is what most people would decide to do rather than spend $45 on let's be real, a shady enough site. Those sites, some of those sites are very shady. So I think what 2K have done is good. It increases the supply of a card, and the more the supply is, the more the cheaper it's going to be. It negates the fact for gambling, because imagine how many people would have gambled to have gotten this card, and imagine what he would have cost if he was in packs.
I mean, if they put him in packs, the odds would have been we would have been seeing a $2,000 stream from some people.
Yeah.
So yeah, the alternative that they've done is a main drop, and it's going to crash the market. So don't we?
Yeah. The hot take is the take from a lot of people that it's a bad thing, and I
don't understand
the pro gambling take, but that's something that I could go. No. The pro packs, the amount of pro pack takes we've seen since this and the Kareem, man, I could go on a 20-minute rant about this, but
yeah, let's
not. That's when it gets sinister. That's when things get sinister. But the thing is, obviously, it's completely different talking about that from our position, being from Ireland, the UK, where gambling, where we've all seen firsthand how dangerous gambling. We've both seen firsthand how dangerous gambling is. Whereas in the States, gambling is really a new thing, and most people haven't seen just how bad how dangerous gambling can be. And that's the one thing I've noticed with talking to a lot of people in the States. They haven't been around it enough, that they haven't seen when it gets ugly.
Fair.
And it's everyone from where we're from has a story of someone who's lost everything because of that addiction.
Yeah, I know people.
Yeah, and I think more and more it'll become a problem in the States, because now it's and it's a weird start to the MyTEAM talk, but now it's even there's certain I'm not gonna give the name of the brand, but there are certain gambling fantasy sports that are being sponsored by people that specifically state you're not meant to mention that it's gambling in a gambling advertisement.
I mean, I don't think it's fooling anyone. You know what I mean?
No. It kind of is. It kind of is. But either way, let's go on to MyTEAM hot take. So first take from Todd E Sharp. Shout out Todd E Sharp. This guy here.
It's gonna be on the podcast in a few weeks.
This guy's he's getting better and better, man. He's getting better and better in terms of his content.
Yeah, sure.
He'll in a few years' time you'll know who Todd E Sharp is. Every time I watch some of his videos, he's getting better and better, and he's trying to get better. But the modes are catered to casuals, because without them we only play sweats 24/7. This is the opposite extreme to Between the Threes and SB's take, and I disagree. It's a hot take, but I disagree. Oh, sorry, no. He's right. He's right. Because he didn't use the word only.
Yeah, so this happened this week.
Yeah.
The evidence of this happened this week. So, me and you have spoken a lot about how hard it is to find a game. They started this Thanksgiving event. The game went on sale, 50% off, and the servers are flooded. Content's catering to casuals. The price point's catering to casuals. there's a whole bunch of reasons that they've just got back on the game, but I've gone from waiting an hour to find a game to not waiting more than 30 seconds at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I found a game.
So
I found a game in 30 seconds for the first time in so long today.
It seems like the Xbox is worse.
You know, even on Xbox,
is popping right now.
On the Xbox, I found today for like Paul George and stuff. I found 30 seconds and 30 seconds for 2 games. So I'm like,
yeah, good.
It's gotten better, and this is why this take I think is correct, and I strongly am against the between the threes / SP take because he didn't use the word only.
What was his take? Remind me.
He said the mode should not in any way should not cater to casuals at all.
Yeah,
it was basically like should only go to hardcore, and I'm like the words. If he used the word only, this is wrong, but he didn't use the word only. So
the big example of this is, like I said, over the last few days, I'm not like that, by the way, just to be clear. This isn't a flex. I haven't lost a game in 2 days. I've played over 40 games online, limited, unlimited, draft, TTO, everything basically. Clutch time online as well. I've been doing the agendas. I haven't lost a game. The comp level just between this week and last week feels completely different. So, 1, I think casuals are now back on the game.
Yeah.
2, it's a more enjoyable experience for everyone, including casuals, because they're more likely to play each other. It's a great take. I mean, I don't know if anyone would disagree with this.
Yeah.
It's not a hot take at all.
I think the more people on the game, the better it is for everyone. Nice thing, period. It means that players that are of a lesser standard, it means that the SPMM algorithm can be implemented properly. And people that are of a lesser standard can play against guys of their similar standard. They're more likely to stay on the game. Because of the way that there's points for losing on Unlimited now, it's not the end of the world. And if there is some sort of like no real SPMM or overall based matchups in all the other modes, it goes back to almost like what we're looking at a little bit in 2K20, where people just play to play, and I like that take. I like take a lot. So
yeah, just on that as well, like the enjoyability factor of it, like. I love a good competitive game. Anyone who plays this game, at any level does, but not every game. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to chill and bop someone by 40. It just needs to happen now and then. So yeah, it's an easy one that.
Okay, 2K23 MyTEAM is one of, if not the best MyTEAM we've ever had. Just the amount of people playing it is too low, and it is literally the argument that everyone made for so long. That for a certain... the worst part is that this narrative is still kind of going on a little bit now. And I do think that if we're looking at the way content has gone, 2K have done everything they can to kind of counter this by giving so much more incentives for casual players. But this was mainly a take that was happening at the start of the year, where this was the best game mode for a certain demographic of players. But the reason why the player base is low is that it was also the worst game mode for another demographic of players that thankfully are coming back in.
Yeah. I agree. So yeah, I think this is being resolved as we speak, right? Like I think that, I agree with you. I think a couple of weeks ago this made more sense than it does today, but it's very, very evident that we've just got a flood of new people on the game, and hopefully that trajectory can continue. Obviously, they're doing things, like the narrative, for example, all the narratives that I've heard, moments cards, budget cards, the ability to build a squad quickly.
It's all
newbies not being able to get things done. It's all been obliterated, to be honest, where we are now. I mean, you can buy a Galaxy Opal today if you want.
Yeah, I don't. Again, I don't think it's the biggest issue. I still think.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna say something different. I would still rather see the game link a little bit more with real basketball, but I would still rather see that. And the easiest way to do that is moments cards. I think we can all come to agreement with that. I think the argument that moments cards are needed so that casuals can get a good team has not only is a ridiculous argument, has always been a ridiculous argument. Yeah. I think the only argument for moments cards is if you believe that my team should link more to the real NBA, it is the easiest way to do that.
The big argument for moments cards, and what bit that I've always agreed with, is it's just a quick grind to get something. Like that's the best thing about moments cards, I think, for me. But yeah, it is the one major thing that links to the NBA as well. I
think that, like, with the way the link was, I think that it just gives us cool content, like short-term fun. Like, if we, for example, got a Matt Ryan card, because we got a Royce O'Neal card because of his tipping. If we got a Matt Ryan card because of that three-pointer, I don't think we'd be still using Matt Ryan today. I just think on that specific day, a lot of people would have locked in and been like, oh, cool, we have Matt Ryan, and tried to cook a few people with Matt Ryan, and then never touched him again. But like, it's a completely. I just think
it's good enough. You could have run him in limited or something.
Yeah.
Today. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think a lot of situations where moments cards won't necessarily bring people into buying the game, but I think what moments cards can do is someone who may not have logged in on that day might say, I can get a moments card in 20 minutes.
Are you gonna say the thing by the end of this video? Are you gonna say that phrase?
What phrase?
The one that's triggering me right now. I just want to know if I need to prepare.
No, it's not. I don't think it's no.
I've got a feeling you're gonna say it.
I probably will, but like again, we don't know who's like. I'll just put it out there right now. It's the green or miss being good or bad. I'm strongly on the bad. He's strongly on the good.
Just said it.
We will find out in March. We will find out in March. Like I genuinely think, because now we're starting to see casuals come back into the game. Like we're both fine with green or miss because we're both fairly good at this game. So we're both making predictions based on a group of people that are not us. So we'll see in March who's correct. There's no point arguing it.
I feel like you just gave your take and I couldn't argue it.
No, because you're right. No, that's what I mean. Is like I don't like it, you like it. We're both good enough to use it.
I just don't think it's a big deal.
You don't think it's a big deal?
I think it's the worst crusade we've been on.
I think we'll see.
There's so many more important things.
There are more important things, I do agree, but I also think that it's way too early in the year, and now we're starting to see casuals come back. It's way too early in the year to see whether it's been a good or a bad thing. And like, I'll take my hat off to you if you're correct. I will fully admit in March if I'm wrong. I'm just not ready to admit it yet.
All right.
Okay, so
cool.
And I want the opposite. So we have to at some stage of the podcast in March, Jazz, we make a deal.
Yeah.
If in March, whichever one of us is, unless we're still having this argument, but I reckon by March one of us will be proven wrong. Whichever one of us is proven wrong has to give a 30-second apology on the podcast.
It'll be you. Yeah, go on.
It'll be you. I'm confident of that. I'm very confident. But this take here. My team's an enjoyable experience, but people ruin it by taking the game too seriously. Being comp makes you hate the game, so don't be comp. 2K has always been a mess of RNG, but we still have fun. Get good enough playing your way and you'll beat the meta eventually.
There's like 6 different takes in this. My brain was struggling with that. Should we start with the first sentence?
I think this is the only thing that
100%.
Like this is the only thing that I think is a situation where it's like, so I think that my team's enjoyable experience by people ruin it by taking it too seriously. I think that that's a take that can be said by someone that's good enough to put the ball in the basket while not taking the game seriously. Like, I agree. I think that the point that he's making is correct, that being comp makes the game miserable. And I'm trying to not push that narrative. But, like, it's very hard to kick your feet up and not focus on this game and score unless you're running to the basket.
We obviously differ massively on this because I just don't. I think the rim run, like Jacob said something on stream yesterday, he's like mashing and rim running. Like people are kind of combining the two as almost one thing now, and I think both of them have become way more relevant over the last few weeks. Like my meta is shooting. Most people I play in Unlimited, their meta is shooting now. That's where we are. Rim running isn't as effective as it used to be. So I think the first sentence here is absolutely true, by the way. Absolutely categorically true.
Yeah. I think it is. Like, it is if you're good at the game, though.
It's the obsession.
Yeah,
it's the obsession
agree.
That gets me.
You're right.
Like, you can have a take on a game. You can say, I like this, I don't like it. Then what happens is just, people have started creating wider narratives to justify point of view. Like, you can say, I like this or I don't like this. But when you don't like something, now it turns into a crusade. Now I'm going to die on this hill. Now it's about everyone, not just me. Everyone feels the same way I do. That obsessive nature is going to ruin your fun in this game. It just will.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Just playing this game to play this game is the most fun way of playing it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Yeah.
But
if I don't like something about the game, I'm not going to tweet about it 7 times a day. I'm not going to go on everyone's Twitter who tweets the opposite opinion and kick off about it. I'm not going to release a video on it every 5 minutes. Like,
I'll go.
There's obviously going to be things.
I'll go.
Yeah, I mean, Algo's my least favorite thing by a mile. I haven't mentioned it once on Twitter this year. You know what I mean? Like,
you don't mention it on Twitter, but You don't mention Twitter because you're emotionally stable enough to not vent your opinions online in a public platform. You're emotionally stable enough to vent in private and not public.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. That's the difference between an obsession and
no, it's not. That's the difference. No, it's not. That's the difference between having enough maturity to not vent publicly, vent privately. It's still an obsession. You've just done it privately, not publicly.
No.
Yes, it is.
I disagree.
No.
If I just got hold of the game, I mean, you speak. Obviously, I'm going to be annoyed. But there's a big difference between that and spending your entire life dedicated to hating on this game because of a specific thing. There's a big difference. Like, what he's saying here is people taking the game too seriously. Which is like, people let this game consume their life, right? Like, real obsessive stuff. Like, some comments even I get, like getting called a shill because I say something positive about the game. These guys are deluded.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You are. You're like, no, you're talking about the, like... You're talking about the people that know, like, that everyone thinks they're completely deluded. You're talking about the people, and the worst part, you're talking about the people. I'm gonna highlight this one word, and it's not even the people that are actually this. The people that think they're this. You're talking about those people.
Yes.
You're talking about those people, like, and not even the guys who are comp, the guys who think they're comp. But, like, they're just 150 people that just comment L plus ratio on everything. Or, not actually those words,
it's not just people who think they're comp, though. It's people with, like, really negative... I always say this. There's people who are balanced who have negative things to say about the game. And then there's negative people that talk about the game, right? And to the negative people that talk about the game, everything sucks. There's nothing 2K will do this year to please those people. They'll just switch from one narrative to another as the year goes on. Like I said, we started up with trophy case ruining the game, then moments of ruining the game, then budget cards ruining the game. Now it's green or miss and a bunch of other things. Like, they'll just go through the whole year cycle in that mindset.
Are you listing off the things that I don't like about the game? You're just listing off me at this stage, Jazz. You're just listing off me. And this is the one day I've gone on a pro 2K. Like, I've gone, like, so far pro 2K today because of the Paul George decision.
You are balanced, but there's things that latch onto that stuff and really live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I will say with me is that, especially when it comes to content creation, I take the most extreme viewpoint on every one of my opinions. I'm either the most extreme... We'll take one of the most extreme negatives or positive viewpoints on almost everything. Because that's how you have to do for content.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you are balanced. But yeah, there are people that would just latch onto the negative stuff and it will consume them for a year.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a good way to live your life. I used to be like that, to be honest. Like, that's why I could say it quite confidently. Like, I used to be that guy. But it was like a reflection of where I was in life, not where I was in the game. I would say if you're happy, you're enjoying the game more.
I'm in an unbelievable spot in life right now, and I'm not the biggest fan of this game. So I freaking love my league content. I love my league content though.
Franchise fatigue, bro.
Fair. But let's go. 2K have began sunsetting their NBA license in anticipation of loot boxes being made illegal. They will continue a park-style game. This is a key reason why you're not focusing on MyTEAM content strategy with expanded player base. Absolute BS.
You want to go first on this?
Absolute BS. Like, today literally proves it wrong. You see, this makes sense. Anticipation of loot boxes being made illegal. 2K are actually doing things in anticipation, but what they're doing is what we saw today. Paul George for $50. Like, they are are making things in anticipation for loot boxes being made.
The catastrophic issue with this take, and it is a hot take, so respect for sending it in.
Yeah.
Because I like an actual hot take. Is 2K will just switch their focus. You know, they'll start selling seasons, things like that instead. Like there's no reason for them to sunset their NBA license.
No, because if they lose the NBA license,
monetizing it,
they're basketball 2K. They're done.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the obvious pivot immediately is every season costs whatever $80. Even if they did that today, they'd probably make more money considering how few people
sell a battle pass.
Yeah. So they'll just pivot into another revenue stream. Like that. It's that simple. So yeah,
they will not.
A hot take, but
they will not lose the NBA license. 2K will never lose that license. There's like the license costs so much that there's no video game company that is willing to put up that money to make a competitor. 2K is going to be a monopoly until the day the NBA give EA the clearance, because EA still have a couple of years left in their license that every year they take off it doesn't count. until 2K or until the NBA give EA the clear to make a free-to-play game based on the NBA, which the NBA have not done yet. From reading articles, you can look them up yourselves. I am quoting articles. Until that day comes, 2K will be a monopoly, and it will stay as a monopoly.
Agreed.
But I also says why they're not focusing on MyTEAM content strategy that expands the player base. I just think that they tried. They tried. Like, nobody can look at what 2K did this year and say they didn't try to completely reinvent the wheel, when realistically they just needed to they just needed to tweak a few things in the game and it would have made it better. But they tried to completely reinvent the game, and in some ways they did really well, and in a lot of ways they missed the mark. But nobody can say that they're not trying, saying they're not focusing on a MyTEAM content strategy. They clearly went in with a new strategy. It clearly didn't work as intended, because we've seen them go back on a lot of things, like from longer Tuesday takeover grinds to a much shorter Tuesday takeover grinds. We've seen opals being released in packs earlier, games gone on sale earlier. Normally it's a 30% sale on Black Friday and a 15% sale at the start of the season. It was 30% at the start of the season, 50% today. Clearly they probably missed the mark or didn't quite work out as intended. But to say that they're not focusing on MyTEAM content when they revamped the entire mode is just objectively wrong.
Yeah, I did a video on JD's channel when we reacted to the blog for the game, right? And I said the same thing then, I'll say the same thing now. Like, you can't, in terms of like expanding the player base, it's kind of pointless looking at it till December, right? Like, 2K have had a strategy this year. I think they were aware that, you know, casuals were not going to engage or enjoy this process. I don't think they're, you know, ignorant to that. But they wanted to get the game time up in a short space of time. If the players were going to be less anyway, which they always are at this time of year, get more game time out of the players that are playing. I can see exactly what they've done. Now we're just already at a different point. Like I said, judge it in, you know, December, but this is November. We got a free pink diamond last week. We got viable opals today. Like, come on, man.
I think
to say that they don't have a strategy just is...
No, they do.
Crazy.
Like, you're right that they went in with the strategy of trying to get the top players playing more time as possible to give the total game time. I think that was I personally think that was a little bit misguided, because it was at the detriment of losing a lot of kind of the... There are a lot of casual players do come in December, but there's a lot to kind of chip away at MyTEAM throughout the year. Whereas you lose, initially they lost them, and they're kind of banking on those guys coming back, and I think they will.
I think that
they probably increase the total game time, but decrease the amount of players. Yeah. They probably massively increase.
I mean, like, you know,
we couldn't find games. So it'll be interesting to see, like, if it turns out that it was a positive or a negative. Like, again, at the start of the year, I think we probably noticed it more because it was impossible for us to find games this issue. And I think that if there wasn't two like prominent people in terms of community from Europe or from a region where it's just really hard to find games, that this entire narrative of the player base dying wouldn't be there.
I mean, I've seen people struggle in the States as well, which is actually a lot worse than people struggling in the EU. It got to that point at one stage where people were struggling there as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't agree with this.
No, not at all. And like, they genuinely, like, they had to have actively known that the trophy case grind wasn't gonna increase player base. And you can even see that the fact that the trophy case is going to be next season and it's going to be done after season 3.
I think in a lot of people's mind it's done already.
Yeah, because again, we've already got it.
I think 80% of people that were engaging in it have checked out. I did. I got AD. But I think most people had the same plan as me. Get Jimmy AD, check it out.
Yeah, like, I think, and I stand by it, like, you are obviously a little bit different, but even you'll admit that the trophy case grind was too long. Like, I don't believe that long-term grinds have any place in video games right now, because of, again, the thing. But even for people that do think the long-term grinds, the trophy case grind being 4 months is still way too long a grind. I think anything that's longer than 6 weeks.
It depends on, like, where they are. Like I said, now it's very evident that backable cards have already passed. So we're closer to 2k22 than we are to 2k23 now, if you know what I mean. Like, packs have taken over. So whatever the main focus is, if we were still at a point where the trophy case was everything in the game and the only way to build a good squad, then it would be in a really bad spot. But I think the fact that you can dismiss it now and just get on with playing how we usually do, building squad how we usually do, I think it's irrelevant. That's the word. I think trophy case is irrelevant now.
Yeah. And I think everyone could kind of could kind of see that it was either going to go one of two ways.
Yeah.
Like, you could see that for the first season and a bit, the trophy case cards, or first season especially, the trophy case cards were better than cards and packs. And that was leading to a severe, like, decrease in the amount of cards being on the auction house that should have been. Like, pink diamonds, they were so rare because people weren't opening packs.
Yeah.
I think that's probably maybe the one kind of negative thing that came out of it from 2K's perspective, was it might have increased game time, but it definitely decreased pack sales from last year.
Probably, but they're going to make up for that.
Yeah, oh no, they'll make up for it.
Endgame's coming today.
Endgame's coming in freaking May.
I don't know how much they're going to make today just off Paul George. Like,
I mean, I have no issue with them selling a product to a consumer.
Yeah.
I have no issue. That's all they're doing. They're selling the product to their consumer. You have a choice to buy it or not.
I like the fact that you know I chose to open packs instead of get the guarantee.
I mean, you can make that choice. You're over the age of 18. You're over the age of 18.
I just wanted a shot at getting the ball, to be honest. That's the only card. Tim is the only card I really want right now.
Oh, so yeah.
I took a shot.
I mean, like, you're over. I have absolutely nothing against someone over the 18 choosing the gamble. Age of 18 choosing the gamble. I've done it myself. But making my team as realistic as possible absolutely ruined the game, and is why no big YouTubers play it. Since when is my team realistic? Tim Thomas and Ricky Davis are the best player. We live in a world where LeBron James' purpose on the floor is to get Ricky Davis more buckets. How is this a take?
So I know what he's saying. I don't fully agree with this, but I get what he's saying. In fact, I don't agree with it. He's talking about gameplay specifically. I think he's talking about, you know, if you look at 2K22's meta versus this year, it's just two different worlds. You know, last year I could confidently get open with a card with even half decent sigs. I could shoot confidently. Like the way I played the game last year versus this year they've definitely tried to build a more realistic sim game. So I think that's what he means. I don't think he's talking about, you know, content or players.
So
about the actual gameplay.
So replace the word "my team" with gameplay. You think is what he means?
Yes.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
Adding the word gameplay, yeah, I think that's what he means. I mean, what do you think?
I assume that's what he means because it's the only way to make sense. And the reason why no big YouTubers play my team, like if you look at big YouTubers that tried to play it, like Cash, LSK, the unfortunate thing is when it comes to YouTube views is that my team has now gotten into a stage, even more so than the likes of FIFA. In FIFA, there might be 399 overalls the whole game. We know there's going to be 300 to 499 overall cards in this game. And what's happened now is the player base knows in March, April, we're going to be getting free 99s everywhere, 96, 97s. So most people check out, and a lot of people check out until then. Some people will play now, some people come in at Christmas, but a lot of people do check out till 99s. And that's kind of the issue with big YouTubers, is that like it's not beneficial for them. They can get more views on a random reaction video or a My Career video up until that point. And like you can even see it like, even when we're looking at my team, views per video, I'm pulling in the second most in terms of consistent my team creators, and I'm pulling like 10,000 views a video at the minute. Whereas if you look at, say, even like Henry pulling in 30, 40k compared to 200k this time, or in peak season, like there are just more players there. So the reason why YouTubers aren't playing it is because there's no views. Like there's a reason why my second channel is pulling in almost as many views per video as my main channel. I started my second channel last week. It's just...
So I have another layer to this as well. I'm assuming like big YouTubers, they mean like the two hype guys, people like that. Is that how you reckon what they mean? Yeah. I mean, they exploded during, you know, the pandemic. They reached their peaks. You know, obviously they've been grinding for years.
They
built up over that time as well. But the pandemic gave everyone... The pandemic gave everyone a slingshot, right?
Shorts gave those guys a slingshot. Chance is about to hit 10 million views off short, 10 million subs off Shorts.
That's recent though, but you know, you'd obviously get.
Oh no, he didn't do anything.
I think there was a point where it was a no-brainer for certain MyTEAM creators to pivot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether the game was still good or not, there was no point.
Yeah, like
you know, someone like Cash who's doing like cookouts, and Jess is doing like, you know, they're doing meta videos now because they built enough of a fan base to switch to that. So I think even if they were in love with the game, I don't think they'd be making MyTEAM content.
I agree, and like. Yeah. Looking at my team creators, and I'm looking just in general. If a my team creators pulling 50k views now, obviously in peak season they're going to be doing significantly better. But if you're pulling 50k views on my team, a pivot in content probably will get you more views.
I think my team for years has been used as a stepping stone, to be honest.
Yeah.
So Speed used to play 2K, didn't he?
Yeah, like...
Look at him. Like, you look at FIFA as well. It's a similar story on all sports. Look at KSI. Like, I think sports games are a really good way for people to kind of enter the content creator market, build a brand, and then go do what they wanted to do. I don't think it's got anything to do with how good or bad the game is.
Yeah. But it's like, you even see the people that are staying on it. Like, for example, Troydan. Troydan's stream for Kobe is only on 67,000 views in a day, which for Troydan is like mental. Like,
he went. You remember I pointed this out to you? I think it was 21, where he went like 6 months without making a single 2K.
Yeah. Like
I put it out on a podcast actually.
When he plays my team, his views, other than the very first week of my team, his views tank compared to other videos. Whereas, like, he's someone that can obviously do other things. And I think there are a lot of my team creators. You even see it with Denver. Denver's probably the only my team creator that's still pulling in, like, almost like similar views to what they were pulling in at peak, because he's just said, screw my team, let me just make creative videos.
Yeah, he's doing squad builder videos, and my team's just a vehicle to do that. I think
like, he's there, made like who's the fastest player, like a speed test video, a scoring basket with a best player every height, breaking records. Like, he's just making like B4 Lancer videos in 2K. And he's pivoted away from my team. And then, like, my team at times is just a vehicle to make that type of content. Exactly. I think that's the only way to really get views during this, what we're going to call dead season in my team. And I think that a lot of even the top YouTubers sticking with my team through dead season, instead of trying to build on their momentum that they had at the end of 2K22, and then either with a new channel or pushing my team to a second channel, and them using their main channel with momentum to build into different type of content while still doing my team on the side. I think that the sooner a lot of these creators that have that momentum make that decision, the better. Because, like, if we look at SP, we know that SP is going to be pulling in 300k views, 300k views on videos at the end of the year.
Sure.
SP, I know he pulled 16k on one video, 5 days, and it's like 5k, 4k, 5k, 4k. After,
I mean, with the snipers in particular, like, up until what, 3 or 4 weeks ago, when we actually started to get like decent budget cards and things in the game, the sniper community was effectively shut down, wasn't it, for the first season? There wasn't a huge amount of content to make. No. But yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I think it's become something that people tried to transcend really in the long term. I think a lot of people have pivoted away from it.
I think they should.
I also think there's a lot of fatigue. Like, for you, that's probably, like, I don't know, you tell me, it's issue number 1, right? You've been playing this for how many years? Can you get excited about playing it? Do you think it's possible?
I think getting excited, no, but like, I can fully admit when good content's good content. Like last week.
In terms of actually, like, how many times a week do you load up the game just to play it for fun?
My team?
0. Yeah.
0.
Right?
I'll play my league. I'll make my league videos for fun. I love that channel.
And if the game was like amazing, if it was everything you wanted it to be, how many times do you think you'd load up a week to play it for fun?
I'd record more videos.
That's a different question.
I haven't played this game without making videos since before the pandemic.
So that's also an issue with, I think any of the big creators, right, that have been playing this since 2K14 or whatever. It has a shelf life for a lot of people, and you just reach the end of that.
Yeah, and in general, they all kind of suck at the game when they come back, so they're coming back and getting their asses handed to them.
You remember? Did you see Toby from Sidemen was doing 2K videos last year?
He's been doing 2K videos for a while. They've been paying him to make 2K videos for a long time.
Really? Yeah.
They've been paying those guys to make 2K videos for a long time.
He's probably the biggest creator that was doing 2K videos last year.
I'm still angry that back when I was on good terms with 2K, I had just hit my 10 million view month, and he'd uploaded 6 2K videos that year. I had at least 20 videos with more views than any of his ones except for his episode 1, and they told him he was the biggest creator in the region for 2K. He had a combined like 1.7 million views in all of his 2K videos. I had just pulled in a 10 million view month. I was freaked. I was freaked that they told him that, and I'm like, I'm like the second biggest overall 2K creator in the world right now. I was averaging like 2,500 views on stream. This is like peak pandemic, and I'm like, Fucking hell. Either way, let's go on to Crabbed. Content previews are taking so much excitement out in the mode where I see them as a net negative for the game. I agree this year, but I don't agree with his statement, but I agree this year.
I 100% agree in every possible way with this take. I've been saying this. The content previews, 2KDB releasing the cards before they're released, it all takes the fun out of the drops.
But like, cards have been put on the database before they've been released since NBA 2K15. Since the dawn of time.
Shall I tell you what the issue is? Yeah, but I was like, 2K20, I never looked at any of that stuff. Shall I tell you what the issue is? It's about timing, right? You want the community to be excited about something collectively at the same time. And I felt like 2K20, like, you know, like I said, I wasn't aware of 2KDB then. I think a large player base wasn't.
People still aren't.
Yeah, for sure.
There's less people that know about the database now than in 20.
And it wasn't used in videos and things at the time as well.
Yeah,
That's
it was.
The big thing. Was it? You were using
2KDB? I've been using this since the 2KMT Central days. Man, me and 2KMT Central, the guy who ran that site, go way back. We used to play basketball against each other growing up, and I'm not even joking about that. I'm not joking about that. Like, he lives 5 minutes from me. Like,
either way, I think maybe on top of that, we've learned more about cards, right? Like, I just hate the fact that the day before the drop, people decide whether they're going to pick up a card or not. I feel like that takes a lot of the fun and that excitement. 4 p.m. here, right? 4 p.m. for you too.
Yeah.
I feel like there used to be a real energy coming up to like 4 p.m. You can see it on your streams, right? Like,
yeah.
You end stream when the content drops. Like, you do all the lead up, right? And then content, unless there's something to grind. At 4 p.m. is the time to end stream because everyone knows everything they need to know. They've known a lot of it since the day before. And I like the idea of us all collectively finding out in-game at the same time. I like the idea of us playing around with these cards a little bit more to decide what works for us and what doesn't. I just hate the status quo of 2KDB deciding what we like and what we don't like and releasing that data early. And I just think it just trips the hype through the day rather than a collective, you know, moment where we all get excited. So yeah, I don't think it's good.
I think you're right, but I think it's a this year problem because there's only 8 cards coming in packs and we know who 6 of them are. I think that if we only knew what the 3-person headliner was, and we only knew what if we only knew what the 3-person headliner was, and we only knew the other pink diamond, I think it builds up. I think knowing the pink diamonds and the top tier cards in the set builds up hype. I think that us knowing that Kristaps Porzingis and Darius Garland are coming out is absolutely irrelevant. And then I think that if we just had more cards. So like we always, like if you look at the Nightmare set, people still got excited about Anthony Simons, Alex Caruso that were never, I don't think Caruso, or I'm trying to think, loads of the, I think Lance was, some of the diamonds weren't.
Lance was the lowest one that was.
It was Lance and then it was Yao Ming that were mentioned. Yeah. But it's like, people got excited about Caruso. People got excited about Anthony Simons. I think if they literally
4 weeks,
I think that if they kept the league, I think the previews the night before are good for the higher tier cards because I think that we're gonna get hyped for them no matter what. And like,
I would still rather not. Honestly, I just think if we just all.
But if do you?
I just like the
why
idea
they do
cards dropping.
Do you know why they do them? Why they do the content leaks?
I'm assuming part of it is like geographical stuff because people won't find out till later if you're in certain regions, and just to get people excited about pulling backs.
It's not. It's in 2K21 before they started doing it. They basically 2K22 was when they actually really started ramping it up. But in 2K21, there were situations where the day before, there'd be like issues and random 2K pages would like leak the sets. And like sets were getting leaked. But people only knew who the headline is.
So you think it's just to stop leaks?
It's not to stop leaks.
I don't know.
It's because they saw that the leaks brought in hype and they're taking control of it themselves. They're taking control of something that was going to happen. So like if we look at a lot of leaks and a lot of these things that were accidentally leaked early, there was hype in that. And if we look at the overall leaks, we were never seeing 6 of the 8 cards that were leaked. We would literally see whoever the Dark Matters were in the set, and that was it. Whereas it was last year that they started doing it for opals and Dark Matters, but it was only one on the hour every hour for like 4 hours. And it became like a thing where people would be getting hype. And now it's half hour, half hour, half hour, hour. So it's like we get them all kind of at the one time. And also we know what the entire set's going to be the day before. Like 2K used to release every card that was coming out in the set the night before on Facebook. They would list off every card, their overall, and list off half of their stats and their badges on Facebook the night before. So there is precedent for that. I just think that it takes the hype so much away from it because we already know who basically every card is going to be, other than 2 random budget cards that are normally useless.
Yeah, fair. I mean, if there's more cards, there'd be more to. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I fully agree with this take.
Yeah, oh no, I think this year, I think if they're going to keep the 8 cards, which we all thought they were done after season 1. We all thought they were done after season 1 with that. Like, I think maybe next season we see them move away from that. And
they're just so far ahead on collector level proportionally that they need to slow it down for a period of time. That period of time might need to be. I mean, we're pushing 1,000 cards in the game.
Yeah. Collector level up until
2 months into this.
Collector level up until 2K21 was always completed at the start of March.
Yeah, but that's not the case now. Last year it wasn't completed until what, June?
No, it was like I had just gotten injured. It was season 6, so that was like it was early May.
People got Dirk just before Will.
No, because people got endgame Dirk.
Just before
they got Dirk like 6 weeks before Wilt, an entire season. It was like
either way, they dropped. I mean, the point is still valid. They dropped a bunch of cards on day one. Definitely like more cards than ever, especially when you look at the token market, trophy case, all of that stuff.
They drop less.
Every few weeks they drop these 40 cards as well with these like pioneers and
they drop way. They drop. There's way less. We're way further away from the collector level. Like in Christmas in NBA 2K19, people had 2,500 cards. Like we're way behind because
I mean, we get content drops every few weeks with like 50 cards in them though. How is that possible?
Because it's only player cards. Every jersey card we had used to go towards collector level.
Oh, they've separated. Yeah,
they've separated it. We're way behind where we were. Like card people had like 2,000.
If you include everything else, yeah.
Like Alan Hughes.
I'm talking about player specific.
Yeah, but like
it's player specific.
Was Gerald Wallace was 1,900 cards last year, and we had Gerald Wallace at the start of season 2.
Yeah, but if it was 1,900 players like it is this year, no one would have had it then.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's like we're way behind where we were last year in terms of collector level. So like the collector level argument for higher promos just doesn't make.
I don't know.
Is irrelevant.
I think they'll get there at some point.
Yeah, sure. I just think the 8 cards and 3 of them being the same just isn't the move.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's the move. But
I agree. We need more cards in packs. I definitely.
Yeah, I just think we need. I'll take more filler cards. I'll take more filler.
Like I said, but one of the things that has gone completely under the radar is these kind of mass drops that they do, right?
They're
what
good.
Was the last one? World. What was it? World what?
World Showcase.
What it was. World Showcase. Yeah. I mean, how many cards was that? 40.
Yeah, but how many of them are actually usable in any scenario, including limited?
I mean, true, but yeah, they are still massive drops.
Yeah, but like Pat Burke, 72 overall gold. Like, what the hell is anyone meant to do with that card?
At least you got off that Burke, and Lude's got his own stat.
I know.
You know what I mean?
But like, how many of those cards at the same time have default small, or default big, default big?
There is a laziness about that that's genuinely quite concerning.
Like so many cards, so many new players have default small, or default big. Like most new players in this game have either got one of two things: God tier 6 or default 6.
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I think they literally just can't be bothered to program it.
No,
like no one's gonna use this.
No, and like that's the thing. They're like these are the most filler cards ever. But I think it's better. I think it's a better concept. But like, there's no need for us to get. Let's count how many golds there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There are 13 gold cards. Not one of them is usable. Not one of them's even a good gold card. Like even LaMelo Ball and Tatum were good gold cards. Like there is no need for us to get 13 gold cards.
Yeah, it's just collector level filler, isn't it?
Yeah, but like, just make them emeralds. Just make them emeralds at this stage.
I mean, it's like I said, at this stage, it's you want to hear something crazy? I'm gonna get Anthony Edwards later, right?
Yeah.
Probably today. At that point, I'm one card away from having a full takeover squad. Having
Really?
never grinded a Friday grind, and only ever grinded 3 Tuesday grinds.
Yeah, but you're like RNG king and you've done all the events.
I mean, it's just been so easy at times. It's just been so easy to get some of them. So yeah, the point I'm making is we are at that point now where it is like that if you want to build a squad. So I don't think any goals or emeralds are really going to get on anyone's radar, apart from you, because you want to gas one of them to the moon.
I want to use Pat Burke. I mean, Charlie Ward was my point guard at one stage.
Yeah, villain
Like I unironically run Wang Jiji and Iji and Lian. That duo.
I mean, you can't say that's unironic. That's definitely.
Like that duo is insane. Wang Jiji is just a better rifle of friends.
That's wild. Everyone's out here trying to get AD, and you're like comparing Wang Jiji and Rifle of Friends. I love it. Never change.
Yeah.
We got another one, or is that it?
No, that's it. We'll leave it there. It's 45 minutes.
Is that a wrap? Is it? Has it
Yeah,
been 45?
45. So
These are turning into mini podcasts, aren't they?
yeah.
You excited about Big C Richie being on the podcast?
Oh my god! Like I'm annoyed you didn't put me on a podcast with Big C Richie. I'm annoyed about that.
It's very interesting.
I
really
would love
about
to just spend an hour with me and Richie ripping the piss out of each other. That would be the best podcast ever. But lads, with that, if you guys want to see Big C Richie, an old guy from the 2K community that
Legend.
is an absolute legend, and I can't believe he's become forgotten about almost. Go follow Jazz. Go subscribe to Jazz. Go watch that podcast the weekend. I mean, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.